a very likely rumor in this, and this is that, which is Spyro the Dragon. The PS1 trilogy is getting a remake. Not remaster. Not remaster. Remake. At least that seems to be what the reports are saying. It's going to be done by the same people who handled the Insane trilogy for Crash Bandicoot. So that should give you some idea of the quality, which, hint, very good quality, very faithful to the original. Did a great job of making the physics work uniformly across all three games, which had different physics in them. So I imagine the same will happen with this remake of a trilogy. And I have to ask, before I go into my experience with Spyro, what is yours? How many of the games have you played?
I've played two and a half. Really 2.25. I've played one for the Game Boy, or Game Boy Advanced. At least I think it was Game Boy Advanced. And then I played the latest one before they made Spyro bad, which was it was like one for the 360 and PlayStation 3, I think.
Before Skylanders is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because some would argue that he went bad during like the PS2 era. Much like Crash Bandicoot did.
Yeah. I enjoyed the 360 one. I played it with my brother, which is like, that's kind of how my Spyro experience has been, because like I've played every Spyro game that I've ever played, I've played alongside with my brother. We played the first Spyro demo when we were kids on the PlayStation 1, because our dad got this like crazy disc that had like 8 or 10 game demos on it. So I guess he thought it would be better than actually getting like a game.
Well, number one, those demo discs were pretty common and easy to get if you knew where to go. Like GameStop handed them out some of the time. But secondly, they were free.
What did I say?
You said that your dad thought that they'd be better than getting you an actual game.
Well, yeah, because it was a demo. It was timed. Which stunk, but some of my earliest gaming memories are from that demo disc. I played Bug's Life for the PlayStation 1. I played Spyro, which that demo I think was like 15 or 20 minutes long, and it gave you a decent amount of room to go to or go around. But I remember chasing this one hooded guy with an egg just because me and my brother couldn't figure out what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But we were like, we want to get it, but we couldn't. We tried so many times to get that egg, and we were convinced that we couldn't because like the game would either time out or we just couldn't get him. And so we finally got the egg, and we were like, oh, quick, we have to figure out what this does. And they hadn't programmed that in.
No, the eggs don't do anything. They're just collectibles.
Awesome. Well, I still didn't know that until this day, so that's depressing. Yeah, I never actually got to play the full game because I had no money, and also I was 3. Maybe it was 4. I don't know. But, yeah, but I still loved that. I loved that demo. I played that so much. And then,
was it the first world, the green hills, basically?
Yeah. And then I played one for the Game Boy. I believe it was the Game Boy Advanced. That one wasn't as fun, but my brother got it for me because I was kind of in that era of like Game Boy Advance games where like everything had like 2 versions.
Please tell me it wasn't Spyro Orange.
Yeah, I think it was Spyro Orange and Spyro Purple.
No, it was Crash Purple and Spyro Orange, and it was like a crossover between the two, and it was terrible.
Oh, maybe it was another one. Because my brother had another version. Dude, I don't know. I can't clearly remember the name of it. I just remember playing a Spyro game on my, I think it was my DS. It was either my DS or my SP. I can't remember. That's such a long time ago, but it's not really. But gosh.
It doesn't seem that long ago to me, but I'm old.
And then the one for the 360, me and my brother played that because it was a 2-player co-op, which was it was fun. It had some interesting ideas. Was it a great game? No, but it was more of the nostalgia of playing it together, and it had some decent stuff in it. It was enjoyable to play with someone else. If I had played that by myself, I think it wouldn't have been as fun. But I really like Spyro.
So, I played only the first one. And for some reason, I played a demo of the second one, and I didn't like it. Basically because the jewels you didn't keep, you used them as currency, and I didn't like that because the jewels are like how you 100% the game. You get every single jewel in the game. So I didn't like the idea that you had to like pay to have stuff done. Also, in the first game, the cutscenes or the talking segments were you rescuing dragons. And then the second game, you just talk to other characters. And whenever you talk to other characters, at least the part of the game that the demo covered, every character sounded like they were in a hurry to get through their line. Like, I think there's a character called Mr. Moneybags, and he's like explaining how to use an elevator. And he's just like, if you want to go up, all you need to do is get on it. And then if you want to go back down, just get on it again. And it wasn't like in his character. It was just certain lines were just like delivered like really fast, and I'm just like, are they running out of room on the CD or something to record these lines? Like, what's going on? And it was really weird, and that didn't happen at all in the first game. Then I just kind of felt like the first game did everything I wanted in a Spyro game anyway. It was perfect just the way it was. That was, I'd have to say, really the first collectathon game that I ever like played 100% all the way through. I do have to say, along with, I don't know whose drowning animation is sadder to watch. I think even though Sonic's drowning animation is fairly sad, I think Spyro's is worse, because when you get hit, at least in the first Spyro game, when you get hit, you have like a little Tweety Bird sound. You remember that sound?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you drown, it still makes the sound, but it sounds like Spyro is basically chirping like a little bird and drowning at the same time.
Well, because he's like a little baby dragon,
and he's like going like this while he's like slowly going under. It's so sad to watch.
Oh yeah, and his little psychic Spark,
the dragonfly. That was cool. I liked how that was a really unique way of
showing health.
Yeah, but your health bar is another character.
I liked games that do something kind of like that. Did you ever play or hear of a game called Tak and the Power of Juju?
I've heard of it.
It did something very similar. The main character had like this feather on like the back of his head because it was kind of like a tribal kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little confusing at first because there was like nothing on like the screen other than your character and like I think what you could use. And then eventually I found out that the feather stayed gold, and the more you got hit by enemies, the darker the feather got.
So is this a visual representation of your health? Yeah, now everything nowadays is just like, oh, the screen goes red around the edge and everything goes black and white.
But then you're okay.
And then you just have to hide. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't know that I would get this one just because basically I never really got into the second game or the third game. I never even played the third game, and I know that they like brought a bunch of like other playable characters into it, and I just also I was kind of growing out of kind of rated E for everyone games. Like by that time I was like more into Final Fantasy and more, mature games at that point. But I think it's a good idea. I mean, Spyro and Crash are kind of are related. They're owned by the same company now. They're very similar mascots. So if Crash got one, sure, I think Spyro should get one too. A remake, not a remaster.
I think I'd get it.
And apparently this September is going to be the 20th anniversary for Spyro. So, yep, 98. Feel old.